This hearing was called to examine the growing need for liquefied natural gas, LNG, in Asia and the United States' role in supplying this energy resource to the region. As Asia's economy continues to rapidly grow and its population increases, it will unquestionably drive the demand for energy ever higher. Countries in the region are looking for accessible, reliable, and cheap energy. And because of the natural gas boom here in America, the U.S. is evolving into an ideal choice to supply countries thirsty for this resource. If the U.S. chooses to become a net exporter of LNG, and it can manage to reach agreements with major consumers, it will not only strengthen our strategic alliances, but it will also aid in the recovery of the U.S. economy. According to the International Energy Association, global energy demand will increase by 43% by 2035, and much of this rising demand will be due to the growing Asian economies. China alone is expected to consume 2 times the amount of energy as the United States and will account for around 25% of the total world energy demand. In Japan, the Fukushima disaster resulted in a near-total shutdown of its nuclear reactors, and as a result, it is now paying some of the highest prices in the world for LNG, almost $15 per unit last month, to make up for its energy shortfall. Due to these rising costs, Japan and India in particular are reviewing potential suppliers of LNG in an effort to obtain gas that is less expensive than that provided by current suppliers such as Malaysia, Indonesia, Australia, and Qatar. Gas, which is linked to the price of oil, U.S. gas is not. It would seem to me that supplying gas that is not determined by the price of oil would be considerably beneficial for the Asian market, as well as for our U.S. suppliers. To do this, I believe it is critical that the Administration increase the pace at which it is working to make U.S. LNG supplies more accessible to countries such as India and Japan, so that U.S. supplies can satisfy Asia's increasing demand. Here in the U.S., we are producing over 70 billion cubic feet of natural gas per day, and by 2017, we may produce more natural gas than we consume. Net energy imports are expected to fall to as low as 4% by 2040, and according to some experts, we could be completely energy self-sufficient even sooner. Just a few years ago, the U.S. required LNG import terminals to relieve our demand for gas. Those terminals will now function as LNG export terminals as they undergo conversions and companies build their liquefaction capabilities. We currently have a temporary export capacity of 7 billion cubic feet per day, but we have the capacity to export up to 38 billion cubic feet per day if all applications for LNG export are approved. And not surprisingly, U.S. producers are lining up to supply the global market with this abundant stock of LNG, where a large portion of these natural gas supplies will be sold to countries throughout Asia. The increase in unconventional energy production has already resulted in significant benefits for the U.S. economy. Perhaps one of the greatest impacts of this new energy abundance is the effect it has had on domestic employment. In 2012, over 2 million jobs were either directly or indirectly the result of unconventional energy production. It also has decreased the trade deficit by more than $164 billion over the last 5 years. Manufacturing has been revitalized. Many small towns and rural regions have experienced a surge in economic growth. Moreover, the thriving natural gas industry has afforded the U.S. a strong competitive global advantage, and we should encourage an American competitive edge, particularly in light of ongoing conflicts in the Middle East and Russia's recent behavior. Supporting LNG exports to Asia, the region with the greatest future energy demand, should be a crucial component of this Administration's strategic rebalance towards Asia. Ensuring our allies' and partners' energy security will demonstrate the U.S.'s commitment to the region. Many of my colleagues and I have insisted that the Administration support the rebalance with tangible actions as opposed to thinly defined proclamations. Promoting LNG exports is a perfect way to do so. U.S. LNG also offers a safe and reliable option to countries in Asia which may otherwise purchase gas from states that often neglect the rule of law, such as Russia and Iran. In fact, just last week, China signed a $400 billion deal to import natural gas from Russia for the next 30 years. This follows Russia's announcement that it plans to increase its presence in the Asia-Pacific markets to broaden its exports and attract investment. Now is the time for the United States to seriously consider undertaking a more significant role in Asia's energy markets. A strong and engaged U.S. economic presence in Asia will ensure that our regional allies have reliable access to the energy supply they need and will help to support our strategic interests. As I said, I think we all look forward to hearing from our distinguished witnesses this afternoon. And I'd now like to yield to Mr. Barra for 5 minutes to make an opening statement.